I just didn't feel well. I couldn't put my finger on one area, like my head hurt or my ankle. It, wasn't anything like that. I just generally didn't feel well.
Jennifer Polk had experienced flu-like symptoms for 2 weeks when her husband Irvin insisted she see a doctor. She was diagnosed with high blood pressure and given medication. But the next day, nausea and a headache sent her to the ER.
A few minutes later, the emergency room doctor comes in and he goes, well, I'm gonna do a chest x-ray and a head CT scan just to see what we're looking at.
The scan showed swelling on the right side of Jennifer's brain, so her doctor ordered an MRI. The MRI revealed a tumor the size of a small orange.
It went from, I'm here for high blood pressure, to it looks like you have some swelling, to hit the neurosurgeon saying you have a brain mass and we're gonna do surgery this afternoon at 4:30. It was that fast, in 45 minutes.
I threw a little mental fit, I guess, and I had to get it together. I had to pray to God and ask him for some clarity, bring me together. I still had to be there for my wife. Mentally, I had to get there, and to do that, I had to have God.
I don't freak out about a lot of things, and I guess it was so funny because I absolutely positively knew it was gonna be fine. I was like, God's got this. I knew deep down that he had it. And yes, I guess it was just my faith, my defiant faith that he had it.
Jennifer underwent surgery for 4.5 hours, and a biopsy revealed that she had stage 3 brain cancer. Because there was a 70% chance a tumor would regrow, her doctors gave her 4 to 6 months to live. They recommended chemo and radiation in an attempt to extend her life.
A glioblastoma multiforme is a primary brain tumor that is malignant. It is cancerous. It is usually considered not curable, even at early stage diagnosis.
Despite the dire prognosis, Jennifer chose to trust God.
If you think my God who created this universe can't whoop some puny old cancer cells, I said, you got another thing coming. He raised Lazarus from the dead. You think he can't take care of this? Are you serious? I will do chemo and radiation as a precaution. That's the only reason I'm gonna do it. And I said, if those are the tools that God has given me to beat this thing, then that's what we're gonna do.
I was frustrated. I was really mad. And that's when, that feeling come on me that I had to get close to God real fast or everything was gonna get out of control. I had to get that clarity in my mind that he was in control and he had it taken care of.
Jennifer stood firm in her belief that God would heal her. She endured chemo and radiation for the next few months with Irvin by her side.
And about halfway through the chemo, I had about 3 months left, and I looked at him and I said, I'm done, I'm not doing it anymore. I was just so tired of being sick. And he was like, babe, you gotta finish. And I didn't want to because I was so tired of being sick. And he was like, you gotta finish. And I would, but it was awful. It was horrible.
There was many days where we cried. There were many days where we laughed, and there were many days where we got angry. But we got through those days together and with the Lord's help.
Jennifer's faith was bolstered by the many people praying for her.
My mom and my stepdad at their church, everybody they knew was praying. My whole entire family was praying. Their churches were praying. My Mary Kay family that I had been in for years at that point was praying. I mean, I had consultants and directors all across the United States, all across the world, praying for me.
The prayer chain was just overwhelming because we'd get notifications that hey, you're on our prayer chain. It was all over the place.
One day while resting at home, Jennifer was overcome by an assuring presence.
And all of a sudden, it just felt like somebody had laid a big, thick, fluffy, warm blanket on the top of me and just completely covered me with it. It was like the warmest, most comfortable feeling. And all of a sudden, I was so thankful. I can't describe it. And I just knew at that point that it was God saying, I've got you.
Jennifer completed the chemo and radiation and has been cancer-free for 7 years.
The Lord brought her back 100%. And she was down, let me tell you. And God has gave me the joy of seeing her beautiful face every day. And I love her more and more every time I see it.
God was 100% part of Jennifer's healing. Glioblastoma is a primary brain cancer that can take people's lives, and for her to be here 7 years later is a true miracle.
I'm sure that everywhere I go, people get tired of hearing my story, but I mean, I go to the nail salon and I tell people that God healed me from brain tumor. It doesn't matter where I go. I go to the bakery, I tell people. I mean, everywhere I go, I feel like I'm still here for a reason, and I think that reason is to tell people that He is still on the throne and He is still working miracles, and I'm sitting here today because He does.